What's going on, people? Kenneth Rodriguez, Geek Hot Fix, and we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man today. So let's check it out. So it's been a couple of days since the news got out there that Sony and Marvel are not gonna be working anymore with their Spider-Man character. They're not gonna be working together with their Spider-Man character. And a lot of people, are pissed about it. I, for one, don't care that much. I actually think that Sony did the right thing. I'm siding with Sony on this one. Disney wanted 50% basically of profits of the Spider-Man character in the next few movies by helping Sony make like Spider-Man 3 or whatever they were gonna make, right? But Sony decided not to go with that business move, which was amazingly correct of them to do so. They just wanted to stay with the deal they had, which was 5% of first money, which basically, first dollar. Basically, that what that means is like the opening weekend money. Disney gets 5% of that. The thing is, the Spider-Man movies, Sony is the one paying for them. Like everything, all the production is getting, Sony is footing the bill, right? But Disney wants 50% of that. I don't know. That wouldn't be a good business move on Sony's part, right? They own the Spider-Man character. Back in the day, Marvel was almost going bankrupt, and they started selling all their franchises, like the movie rights and whatnot. And back in the day, superhero movies, if it wasn't Superman or Batman, it didn't sell. They tried a lot. They tried comedy. They tried like all this type of different types of superhero movies, and they didn't work. So basically, Marvel sold their rights to Sony. Excuse me. So they could get a little bit of money, not go bankrupt, right? And they even offered like basically all their franchises to Sony, but Sony's like, nah, I'll just pick Spider-Man, because Spider-Man basically is the most important character in the Marvel universe. It's a right there. It's the Superman of Marvel. It's the Superman / Batman of Marvel, right? So now they own the rights. If they don't want Marvel to do the movie, if they don't want Disney to do the movie, they have the right to say so. That's what they have. They have the right to protect their character, because in the movie world, it's Sony's character, right? And if anything, Marvel made money out of Civil War. Sony didn't get any of that. Infinity War, they didn't get any of that. Endgame, they didn't get any of that. Sony didn't get any money by having Spider-Man in the MCU. They just had Marvel help them develop this character for the movies, right? And Marvel, what they did is they basically incorporated Spider-Man into their MCU, right? Like, even so, first Spider-Man, basically most of the story is about the Avengers moving from the tower to the facility, and Spider-Man living in that world. And then the second one is kind of like the same. It's an Avenger movie. It's a Shield movie that has Spider-Man in it. So, do you think that Tom Holland can't pull off a Spider-Man movie where there's no Iron Man, where there's no mention of Nick Fury? Like, if you look at all the movies Marvel made, Spider-Man is one of the most that it's not the character's movie. For example, Doctor Strange, that movie is about Doctor Strange. The whole thing is about Doctor Strange. Spider-Man has Iron Man in it, the first one, Spider-Man Homecoming, Even Iron Man saves the day in the boat scene. It's Iron Man who saves the day, not Spider Man. Like, you think that Tom Holland can't do a Spider-Man movie by himself without the need of any other Avenger showing up? I do. He's a really great Spider-Man. I think that Tobey Maguire was a great Peter Parker, but not a great Spider-Man itself. Then Andrew Garfield, to me, was the opposite. He was a great Spider-Man, but he wasn't a great Peter Parker. Tom Holland, it's both. Like, his Peter Parker and his Spider-Man are amazing, and he's a great actor. And I know the next movie is gonna be amazing, but people are trying to boycott Sony, and they're like, "Oh, give us Spider-Man back," and I'm gonna side with Sony on this one. I'm just gonna side with Sony on this one because they did the right thing. And there's a lot of people saying, "Well, now he's gonna go back to like movies that suck because it's gonna be Sony." Venom was okay. Like, Venom was a really good movie. It exceeded my expectations. Spider-Man, for what it was when it came out, it was a great movie where movies about superheroes basically didn't sell. Spider-Man did a great job. Spider-Man 2 is arguably the best Spider-Man out there. Great villain, great set pieces, great story. I didn't like the ending when he takes the mask off and people see him and whatnot. That's the only thing I didn't like. But the movie itself is super, super great. It's the best Spider-Man movie except for one other, which is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was made by Sony. And it's a recent movie. It's about Miles Morales. It's the Spider-Verse. You have Spider-Gwen. You have North Spider-Man. You got Spider-Pig and whatever. Like, you got Spider-Man from all over, and it's an amazing movie. I've seen it like 20 times already. It's a great movie. It has a little like, whoever came up with the idea of doing the comic book colored dots and wrongly printed, like, because there's scenes where the colors are like shifted like that. Like, sometimes it happens on when they print, like, they don't match, and stroke of genius. And it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. That's the other thing. Sony doesn't have to make a Spider-Man movie. They can make a Miles Morales movie. They own that universe. They can make another. Venom 2 is coming out. Andy Serkis is gonna do it, so I'm excited about that one too. Venom is coming out. They can do Spider-Gwen. They can do Miles Morales. They can do a Spider-Verse live-action movie. They can do animated movies. And I've been talking to a couple of people. They're like, their movies suck and whatnot. They don't know what to do. They did a great Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. Plus, if you think about it, Sony made the PS4 game Spider-Man, right? They one of their studios created the story. Well, it wasn't their studio at the time. Now they own it. It's Insomniac Games. They created the story. The story is theirs. They use all these characters, and it's an amazing game, an amazing story. I think it's the superhero-wise, it's my second favorite video game after Batman Arkham City. After that one, Batman Arkham City and Spider-Man is like right there because the story was so good and the gameplay was amazing. It was a really good game. So Sony knows how to do Spider-Man justice. It's just that maybe the directors weren't pulling it off, but they can do it. And now they got Tom Holland. They can make Spider-Man 3, basically, and it's just gonna be a Spider-Man movie. I was actually watching Batman Hush the other day, and it's a movie where basically you see all the villains, right? They have like a little moment to shine, each and every one of them. And Sony can pull something like that with Spider-Man, like have all the villains just for a quick, as long as the story is good, it will sell. Again, I'm on Sony's side on this one. Disney got greedy. That's the problem. Disney got greedy. Kevin Feige has what, 20 movies coming out in the next 2 years. You're telling me that he's gonna be on set for Spider-Man worth 50% of the revenue? Come on. Disney got greedy. They want Spider-Man back. You know, they got all these characters now. They bought Fox. They got the X-Men. They got Fantastic Four. You know, they got Deadpool. And the only one that they don't have is Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is the biggest name in their catalog, right? So it just eats them from the inside, right? They don't have Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the best character in Marvel, basically history, and they don't have it, and they want it. That's the thing. They want it. They want Spider-Man back. But Sony was smart and said no. If anything, Sony would have come back with instead of 5%, I'll give you 3%. You know, it's all business. There's 20 movies coming out in the next 2 years, right? Around 20 movies, right? There's no Spider-Man 3 announced. Like, it's not like Sony is gonna start doing Spider-Man right now and Disney, I don't want you. No, like Disney it's basically trying to bully Sony, and they're trying to like heat up the masses, so they bully Sony into selling Spider-Man for them. I think Sony did an amazing thing by saying, you know what, no. And again, I'm behind them. Hopefully the next movie is gonna be great. Second one, I had mixed thoughts about it. It was an entertaining movie. I didn't think it was better than the first one. And again, I don't think it's better than Spider-Man 2. And miles away, pun intended, from Into the Spider-Verse, right? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that little bell for the content we have in store for you. And see you on the next one. Kenneth Rodriguez, Geek Hop Fix. Bye!